Hey there guys, this is Decimatus back for more Payday 2. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Hoxton Revenge heist on the Deathwish difficulty. And god damn it, we're getting all the evidence, and we're killing that fucking traitor.
HoxHud initialized.
As you approach the house, there's a couple things to know. You can crack open some of the fence plates, they're the ones that have holes in them. You walk up to it and you get a little interact thing that says, break open fence. Either that or the gate are going to be your best ways to get beyond it. You can also jump over some rocks, but having those actual entrances will probably help you. Lock-picking skills come in very handy in this map, as every single window can be picked, and so can every single door. We could go right in, but if we do that, we're going to be pretty much screwed. Based on the spawn locations that I've seen for the different boxes, I'm going to try either that window I was just at, or this one here, depending on how many people I've got around. A little too many. You want another one back? Yep, another one back there. You can hug the bushes to stay away. Line of sight is pretty hard to get in this one. There's a good amount of guards, but there's a ton of stuff that you can use for cover, so just be careful and you'll be fine. This is no car shop. After you pick your first window, the alarm will be highlighted. You need to get your ass over there and get that cable cut, or you are done. The alarm goes off, and you are no longer stealthing. Just cut the cable, the box will shut itself, and you can get the fuck out of there. On top of going for the traitor, we're also looking for evidence here. You can find that in this room, as well as downstairs here in what looks like the actual evidence room. Although it looks like I don't have any evidence down here this time. Back in this corner is a chance for the camera room to spawn. The other one is outside. If it's not here, it must be out there. That evidence can be in a couple of other rooms too. It can either be in little boxes or on the wall. It looks like the Hank Schrader information on Heisenberg wall with, the strings attached to everything and all the different pictures. You basically bag it all up and take it with you when you leave. Along with the evidence laying around, there are a few tapes that you can hit, and you can listen to some of the information regarding the traitor. They're basically the interview tapes, with the traitor talking about all the different things that he knows about us. It's all that information that they have that this is what we're afraid of them having. They fucking have it. I need to check out that back corner there to make sure there's no evidence, no keycards, or nothing else. I see some evidence in the room right there. I'll have to remember that to come back and get that on the way out. Otherwise, like I said, I'm just making sure there's no keycard in there, and I'm making sure the safe room isn't back there either. These little closets can be used to store bodies, loot, or whatever. I've even managed to store the director of the FBI back there. As long as you lay him down correctly, his legs will actually be hidden back behind there, so you should be safe to do that. I think it's safe to say that the safe room has a chance to spawn where any of those closets are. I've only ever found it in one or two particular spots in a particular part of the house, but that's not to say that they couldn't spawn there either. I'm actually going to head to that side now, since it's really the only part of the house that I have left to check for the safe room. A couple of things to note while I'm running around like an idiot. I've actually never seen the murky waters inside, and I've only ever seen these regular FBI guards inside. So it leads me to believe that their pathing does not cross streams, and that the inside people stay inside, and the outside people stay outside. I will say that in all my attempts, I refused to pick open the doors, so that might change when you do that. However, picking open the windows is perfect, because you can jump in and out, even with the loot in your hands. However, guards cannot get through the windows as far as I know. They are not so nimble. That is an empty closet. There are only two more upstairs that I know of, so I am narrowing this down pretty quickly. It's going to have to be up here. Guards in this room path a little bit weirdly. Sometimes they go out and stand on the balcony. Sometimes they walk down to the end of this hallway here. Sometimes they go stand in this bedroom. Sounds like I'm close to the boss. Where is he? And there's our room. Cool. It was either going to be at the end of this hallway or actually in that room there. Let's let the guard finish his path and take a look. Yep, there's our manager. Cool. He's got a pair of eyeballs that we need to press up against the retinal display, so we got to make sure he doesn't die. We'll get him zip-tied and walked right over there, as long as we can make sure that there's no more guards coming. Ooh, we got a party in there. No. You are not coming out. You come back. Let's lay down in the closet. Closet time. So, like I said, as long as he's laid down appropriately, they're not going to be able to see him coming in there. Let me just make sure. I can't see his feet from where the guard will typically stand, so that's probably a good spot for him. Luckily, though, he is so damn close to the time lock here that I can walk him over, get him scanned in, and get him taken out pretty quickly. As long as my outside people don't see it. Scanning those eyes. On the other side of this door is our traitor. So close, so far. No radio for you. Trying to be clever. Ain't nobody got time for your radio. At this point, this back area is completely safe, and all I've got to do is find a couple key cards. I will go ahead and fast forward my search. I actually, this is one of my first few attempts, so realistically I don't have all these spawn points memorized. I'm just looking around like an idiot. Oh, look at that. Look at that right there. So like I said, I don't actually know what all the spawn points are, but from what I've seen, those little tables are perfect spots for them, and yeah, pretty much just the tables is all I've seen. Those white tables. I've also found it a couple times downstairs in the evidence room, but I don't remember seeing one when I was in there. Oh, and there's a guard, so I can't check. I'll be back for that later. Few close calls and a pager later, I think I've found it, but I got another dickhead guard in there, right where I started, in this room down here. So as soon as he pats out, I'm going to go get that key card, and we'll head up, and we'll go confront our traitor. Yep, there's the key card, and we are right here. Just so long as we don't have any guards in the way, we'll head right there. Once you get done dancing with the guards, go ahead and put the keycard in, and you've got a minute to wait for your panic room to open. Well, there you have it, guys. After all that hype and all that wait, it looks like Hector was our enemy the whole time. He's the asshole that betrayed us and gave all this information up to the FBI. What a dick. Sneaking out of the house with the evidence is a lot easier than it sounds. Here is one of those panels that we can bust open. Should allow us to get in and out a little bit easier. Although, if we get caught immediately, that will not help anything. Just be careful, there's a lot of pathing people out here. As long as you're careful, you should be fine. You can hug the walls and use the rocks to avoid detection. That's scenery. should always be careful when running up this rock because there can be a guard standing about where I am now, and he'll be looking right at you, walking up that hill. So if he's there and he happens to see you, you're pretty much fucked. Otherwise, you're good to run along the rocks and just keep jumping. As you can see though, as long as it's clear, you should be safe to run straight down the middle lane. At this point, there's nothing left to do but look for the remaining evidence. But before we speed things up, let's take a look over here. This is one of those 2 spawn locations for the cameras. If it wasn't downstairs, it's going to be here. Just like normal, there's only 1 camera room. So pop the guard, answer his pager, and you'll be good to go. The coast looks clear, so I think I'm going to make the leap of faith and jump right across. This is easily the fastest way back in, just like jumping off of the roof over the fence is the fastest way out. So, you may remember when I said you need to be careful coming up these hills. You're about to see why. Yes, I've got the one in front of me finally killed after I had to shank him to death because I missed so many times with the judge. But this other one that sees me is not going to let it go. I can get that judge reloaded and actually not miss to actually take care of his murky water health pool. Now I can answer both of these pagers, and we're still good. Luckily, I didn't need to use these pagers in the house, so I actually had leftover ones for outside. I don't recommend you be this sloppy. Luckily though, this is my last bag, so technically I can get the fuck out of here whenever I want. That's not the way we roll though. I'm getting those last pieces of evidence. Unfortunately, with that being my last piece of evidence, I'm not going to be able to actually hide this in the van, so just behind will have to do. Even if you miss your jump of faith, you can still get across using the rocks down there. I'll skip the leap of faith this time, and we'll just do it that way. Jump right over. I know exactly where those last couple pieces of evidence are, because they were in that first room, and they were in the room that I got that 6th piece from, so they're all right here. I'm going to go ahead and jump right off the roof into the alley now that I know for sure that there's no more guards here. At least my path is pretty clear. Wonder why that is. That's the last piece of evidence. We are all good and we're getting the fuck out. Honestly, I was not expecting Hector, but I really, really enjoyed this heist. It was very, very well done. The challenges for Deathwish were actually challenging in a manner that didn't make it impossible or just stupidly hard. And honestly, I feel like it lives up to the hype of what I expected this heist to be. And the fact that it was stealthable at all, that's cream in the shorts territory for me. I mean, y'all know I'm the stealth guy, so whenever I see that little ghosty icon, I get a chubby. I'm happy about that. The only thing I would say is that there's a couple things I noticed that were bugged, like the fact that the cameras that Bane puts on the map are accessible from inside, along with a couple things that you could grab from the other side of the wall, but really, no big complaints. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can go ahead and click here if you want to check out one of my other videos. As always, happy heisting.